Today is September 8th, 2022. Please don't say anything that you don't like to be recorded and to be in the internet for all posterity. Let's start the Kubebuilder and Control Runtime meeting. The first item in the agenda usually is new faces. That is more if someone that is new here and would you like to introduce yourself and say why you are here or what do you expected, please feel free.
Hi everyone, my name is Yash. I work at VMware. So previously I was working on building the custom resources using the Kubebuilder, and I'm looking forward to contribute into the Kubebuilder for better, like
That
be a
is
part of it. Yeah, it's okay, short and precise. Thank you.
no, you can go. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Like,
Welcome, Yash, and that is amazing that you'd like to contribute to with the Kubebuilder. Your help and your support is definitely more than welcome.
thank you.
Have we any other person that you'd like to introduce yourself? We have a silence, so I think we can move on, right? So let's go for the first item from the common interest, that is the demo. Tony, would you like to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Can you see my screen share?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. So we just get started.
Go for it. If you'd like to do an introduction, some introduction about yourself before and the project and what is the demo is about. That is the extra achievement that you did. For those that are not aware, would be nice as well.
Cool. Thank you. So hi everyone. I'm Tony, and I'm a mentee under the guidance from Camilla, Varsha, and Rashmi for the GSOC project this summer. So we've been working on creating a new Grafana plugin that is helped to simplify visualization, the status of the operator through the Grafana web UI. So if you're not very familiar with Grafana plugin, it's just a newly created one, as I just mentioned. And basically, it will help to simplify the generation of the Grafana manifest based on the default metrics generated by controller runtime, so that the user can directly copy the content of the manifest to their Grafana web UI to visualize, to observe their operator status. So I recommend, if you have interest, I recommend you to go through the documentation, and I'll be glad if you can have a try on that, and let me know if anything you have questions or issues or any idea you want to bring to this plugin. I'll be very glad. So currently, for the current release of the Grafana plugin, we have it will bring you two dashboards that by default will give you the metrics based on the controller runtime. So one dashboard is the controller resource metrics that will shows you the basic CPU and memory usage of your operator. So in the future, we probably will bring new resource based on different perspective if it is necessary. And another panel, another dashboard is the runtime metrics. So this basically will show you the relative status of the reconciliation and the work queue. So it will give you the performance of your reconciliation and the status of the work queue. So that's like what previously the Grafana plugin can bring you. So upon that, Varsha and me have been thinking if ever we can try to visualize the custom metrics. So that's what I'm gonna bring for today. So for custom metrics, we're thinking that like since operator can be various kind, because like different users or different companies may have different kinds of operators, and it can be a common case that the operator author will create or compose some custom metrics based on different perspectives. And so it can be interesting if we can help them to visualize their custom metrics through the Grafana web UI. So actually it feels like a challenging, because I just mentioned like, since it is customized, so like what the meaning of the metrics and like what kind of the panels they want to visualize can be varied. And it is like a little bit hard like for the plugin to judge like what kind of the panel and what kind of the expressions they want you to see. So we're starting like the very basic things for like experimental. So so I can show like some latest, specification in the latest documents of the master branch. So again, like the Grafana plugin can be triggered by the kube subcommand init or like the subcommand edit. And then this time it will also generate a config YAML file that is an entry for the users to define the metrics and they want to view. So inside the config YAML, it will give an object called custom metrics that is basically an array. And for each element, it will help the user to define the metric, the type, and the EXPR. So the metric is just the raw custom metric the user defined. The type is the type of the custom metric. That is the Prometheus data type. So to say it can be counter, gauge, and histogram. And the EXPR is the composed prompt QL based on the metric. So because like custom metric is like, this is just the raw metric. And more in general cases, we try to build some like complicated prompt QL based on that. So this is the field for EXPR. So for this three field, the metric and the type is required so that the plugin will know like what exactly the metric it is. And the EXPR is optional so that if the user would be glad to bring the EXPR, then the Grafana plugin will just directly use that. If the user are not sure like what the XPR would be look like, then the plugin will generate automatically create one based on the metric and the type. So I'm gonna show a very brief case on how we can go over that. So here is the, sorry. So here I will be used the memcache operator. So this is like a very basic operator under the operator SDK test data, but it's still like it can be driven by Kubebuilder. So I'm gonna use the Kubebuilder edit subcommand with the plugin. So after that, there will be a newly created Grafana directory under the project, and there. So this is what this new feature bring is. I just mentioned it gives a subdirectory with a config YAML file. So inside it, I was going to create some configs for the custom metric. So before that, I have added two custom metrics based on the memcache operator. One is it has a histogram, which is the memcache operator reconcile time seconds. One is the reconcile total. It is not necessary to be very correct, but just is a trial for like the custom metric. So just copy and paste to the config YAML. Oh, so for histogram, it's usually we would use the buckets of the this metric, and the next one is the reconcile total. And again, I will define it as the counter. And I'm not necessary to use the EXPR. So let's get started. So now I will again trigger with the Kubeedit. So this time, since I have defined the config YAML, the plugin will read that config and generate the JSON file. So if we open the directory, we will find there's a newly created JSON file under the custom metrics. And so if search for the keyword EXPR, we will see that it will automatically generate a new PromQL expressions based on the given metric and expression. So this is the histogram. It will generate like histogram quantum to show like some statistical results based on the custom metrics. And so here is we'll do some summary rate based on the reconcile, based on the counter metric. So basically, like what the plugin do is it will try to compose some very basic PromQL expression based on the type of the metric, and will insert the custom metric into the expressions. So now we can copy the contents of the manifest, and we can go to the Grafana web UI. So let's try to create one. So we just paste it in the input page. And let's say we chose a folder, playground, and let's select the relative data source, which is Prometheus, and click import. So now we can see there's the panel. So if we choose, so let me choose different time range, say like 12 hours. So we'll skip this one. So I probably have a wrong expressions on the default metric. So let me try to fix that. So so that's the reason, is because I guess I didn't correctly spell the custom metrics as I defined here. It should be buckets, I guess. So let me see if I can fix that. Oh, it seems it's correct. So because there's the histogram, I'm not sure why it's not showing outside, but it looks, we can view what's happening over here. So that's basically what currently the custom, how like the Grafana plugin will bring you the panels for the user-defined custom metrics. So it's very like, it is still like an experimental feature and in a very early stage, because like you can see that we're just trying to like build upon the very basic PromQ expressions to help define the panel based with the custom metrics. And we just deal with the timeline drawing panel as what is displayed over here. And so I'd be very glad if like you would be have interest on trying this, and I'd be very glad if anyone will have some ideas how it could be better. So it can be like challenging, because like at one point we don't want to leave so many config field for the user, because it brings some burden of learning curve for the operator author, but still want to make it functional, because like since it is custom metrics, it seems like there's like a couple of things that's really defined by the user side, not the plugin itself. So yeah, that's what we have for the latest feature of the Grafana plugin. Thank you.
That is a great, really nice work, Tony. That has been amazing. So I think the next step is asking if someone would like to make questions or to say something about.
No questions, but it looks really good. I know folks, I know that a lot of people like graphs, and one of the common things that comes up is what should operators be able to, like what type of metric should they be putting out, and I think this will help folks want to put metrics and make sure that they are exposing them and be able to see them and see the value in it. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you. So I guess like maybe one challenging things that happens for the previous days I witnessed is like somebody may have like some interest on using this plugin and they've met difficulty on trying to collect the metrics from the operator to their Prometheus. So that's definitely another story. But I guess like if someone have met similar issues, though it's not maybe very specific to Grafana, can also reach to me because I can probably help with to see how we can make the metrics exposed to certain Prometheus so they can help the users to see the metrics on their Grafana to test the plugin.
That was about the permissions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because when we install, I think operator, Prometheus operator, or Kube Prometheus operator, I think that is the name of the project. The project that we suggest in the document for someone that is like installing, is creating a project and trying to check how the things works. If you install by default, only the default namespace Prometheus has permission to check the metrics. So has many ways. I think now we have in the documentation, if I'm not wrong, a warning to let people know as well. So has many ways for you let Prometheus change the configuration from the Prometheus and say, okay, you can get the data from the whole cluster, or you can get the data from this specific namespace. And when we create a project with Kubebuilder, we will create a namespace and deploy this namespace that is system and the name of the project, concat with the name of the project. So by default, that namespace, if you just install the Prometheus via TS operator, you will not have, right? But this information is also in the getting started of the Prometheus operator, how you can allow Prometheus operator check all namespaces or a few of them and however, just to bring a little bit of context. Let me know if I could not provide the information in a good way, if that was not clear for everybody.
I have one question like regarding this. Though I have not explored the Grafana V1 alpha, but I'm just asking like, is it all the, like if you want to give any points, I mean in the config.yaml, we can provide all the pointers like which dashboard we want to show or something like that, or is we need to do some Go coding as well other than writing in the config YAML?
I'm not sure if I understood your question. Was about the Grafana plugin or?
Yes.
Yes. So the
So
Grafana,
like,
so go
yes,
for
yes,
it.
carry on. No, I'm just asking like, just now he showed like in the config.yaml, he mentioned the pointers like how he wants to show the dashboard of his program or something. So
Okay.
is it done via config, or we have to make some necessary efforts also to in order to achieve that?
Okay, when you create the project with a Kubebuilder, you have some metrics that are exported by default. These metrics are provided by control runtime. And actually, if you create a manager using control runtime, you have these metrics, right? In the scaffold of the Kubebuilder, in the scaffold that is done by default for you, you see that we expose the metrics in a endpoint college metrics. The Grafana plugin will only scaffold the manifest for you be able to create the graphs in Grafana. But that, if you check the documentation of the Grafana plugin, you see the steps as well. You need to ensure that you have Prometheus configured accordingly, right? For be able to to use the metrics, have all permissions. You also need to enable that in the default scaffold, the metrics. So it has some steps that are in the document, like how you enable the metrics, right? Because the scaffold is done by you, but you need to enable. You need to say, okay, I want use this option from the project, right? Is that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Camila. So I have a question regarding the metrics. So when you say custom metrics, what does that exactly include, like other than the native metric that comes with Grafana?
Let's see if I understood your question. When you use custom metrics, what more you can see? Okay, the custom metrics, you have all these metrics that are exported for you by default, right? You don't need to do anything. If you are using controller runtime, you have some metrics, which I think is the common case scenarios. Then you have one option for you go there and say, okay, I want to create my own metric, which is the custom metric, which you call like a custom metric. If you checking the SDK repository now, you see that it has inside under the test data main cache v3 sample, you will see that in the controller and outside, you will see that it has a new directory metrics. If I'm not wrong, the name, you see an example of the custom metrics. So in that case, just to show how that can be done, the metric is done to count how many times the reconciliation was made and the number of the instances that you say, I want 3 instances of them in cache, right? You put that in the custom resource in the example. And then if you change this value, you go inside of a conditional in the reconciliation. So the metric will count how many times the value, the desired number of instances on the cluster was not equals the reality, right? The desired state is not equals what can be found on the cluster, right? But then it's up to what you are doing, right? So I think the biggest part of the scenarios probably are covered by the default metrics, but for sure, people has many edge cases, has many scenarios that you'll never be covered by the default ones. So
I think, that clears it. Thank you.
and what Ton did today, you'll be like, if you create a custom metric, that is something that is valid only for your specific case, then you can go there, use the plugin, configure that, and you have a dashboard to visualize the data exported from this custom metric using Grafana. Also, you can customize it because it has everything that is done by the tool, right? The tool is scaffold the files, show for you how to do, is a good start point, but you also can go there and try to improve and change things as please you.
Okay.
Would you like to say something, Tony?
I think most of the thing you say is pretty correct. Just mention like if so it may be not that much so complicated. You just like go for like try to import as like any kind of metrics you would like. And so if you have already configured your premises and then you're running your operator correctly, so it will automatically collect your metrics. And so you don't need to, so the only thing you need to do is you just define that, and then you should be able to collect that. And so I'll try to give, I think there's like a section in the documentation, try to describe a little bit of how to like generate the metrics by yourself.
Yes, we have a section there that she explained. We can do the show here. Let's see. Can you see the Kubebuilder repo?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just I can show. So here we have the metrics. So you have like how to enable the metrics, everything, blah, blah, blah. And here you have some example how you do your own custom metrics, right? The other thing that I open here to show is the example that was added in the main cache operator in the operator SDK repo. So if you came here, this directory is not scaffolded by default for SDK or Kubebuilder. However, this is a customization done on top to show how the custom metrics works. So if you go here, you see the implementation of the metric. So that is exactly what I was trying to share. The total number of times the deployment size is not the same what is desired on the cluster. So if you check here in the controller, where we have this example is here. So here we check it, right? Is the number defined in the spec in the custom resource equals the number of that I can find on the cluster when I'm checking the object. If not, right, that is different, then we are calling the metric and that is counted +1 in the total. It's just a very simple example just to show how that can works, right? I hope that you answer and clarify the things for Tanisha. Let me know if now make more sense, Tanisha.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
So I think we can continue with the agenda, right? Or have we any other question about the Grafana plugin? Also, just to supplement, if you came in, just take the master branch. If you came in the master branch, is here. Okay, if you came in the master branch, plugins, Grafana, where are you? Here. Okay, here check all documentation indeed with the steps that was added by Ton about this new feature to work with the custom metrics, right? So has the GIFs as well, and as Ton described, if you have any problem, face any issue, or would you like to make suggestions, as usual, please feel free to raise an issue, to contribute with the pull requests, as you see fit. So let's move on. Great work, Tony. That is very impressive.
Camilla, I have one question.
Okay.
So Tiani sometime back just mentioned that the matrix like a graph of reconciliation loop. What other things that graph shows like in reconciliation? Like one thing like Bruce also mentioned that failed deployments and all. So what all things is possible?
Is someone that would like to answer that? I'm listening. Let's see.
I didn't quite catch the question. Can you say
Can
it
you
again?
just you sometime back you mentioned that the graph like which are a reconciliation matrix graph. Okay, it was for the complete stuff or only for the single reconciliation?
The custom metrics, you mean? Like, because the example that we just shared?
Yeah.
So let's see if I understood your question is, what case scenario I can use the custom metrics outside of the reconciliation?
Sorry, will you please repeat?
Is that your question? When I can use the custom metrics outside of the reconciliation, because we show in the reconciliation, right?
Hello?
Hello?
I hear both of you.
Thank you for letting me know.
Me too.
Who made the question is able to
No,
hear
I
us?
was just okay. I was just trying to get that if like if is there some way like in matrix we can analyze our reconciliation single reconciliation thing, what all stuff has been like the frequency, what all resources has failed or passed, like that way I was trying to get. So I thought like Tiani just mentioned that single reconciliation graph, so I was just thinking in that way.
I think the metrics has more than only the reconciliation. If you came here, Tony help you with that as well. In the reference, you'll find all the full metrics. I don't have in my mind all use cases so far, but these ones, for example, are related to reconciliation. These ones is webhooks. I think you also has by default some metrics, if I'm not wrong, that are provided by Kubernetes, right? So
Yeah.
for example, the pod, how much memory, CPU, and all these things. So you also can have metrics and monitor the manager or the operator, how you want to say, like the pod which is running the binary with your code that you manage all controllers as well, right? So that is another point that you can use the metrics.
Okay. Thank you.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
I guess some additional thing I'd like to say is, so I think that for the default metrics given by runtime, they're like very relative to like reconciliation and the work queue and the relative performance on like the webhook or something like that. But like, as you can see that so the Grafana plugin also brings you the resource dashboard that is for the CPU and memory. And for these things, some of them are not necessary to be used the default metrics. And so if you're using like other like metrics systems, like for example, kube state metrics, you can definitely like observe your controller in a different perspective that is outside the operator. And so like for the custom metrics, if I'm understanding correct, it's like, so for the most cases, we're trying to like compose how the reconcile will be looks like. So I imagine like in most cases, when you define the custom metrics, you will be mostly working around the reconciliation, but that reconciliation is mostly customized by yourself. I didn't quite dive deep into like how like that would be looks like, but just basically, I think that would be the case. So Camilla, you can fix me if I'm specifying around.
I think you spend a long time on this, probably more than I'm all my life in the metrics part. So yeah, you are totally fine. And my understanding is that as well, you have a data metrics that you can get from Kubernetes API directly. You have data that you can get from control runtime that are more specific to the controllers, and in this way, the reconciliation, right? And you also can create your own things.
Yeah. Thank you, Camilla. Thank you, Tanya. I got the thing.
And that is my understanding as well. Like, I don't know if he has other things more than that. And I think Tony explained it very well, better than I. for sure. Next item. Can we move forward? Or please feel free to raise any other questions. The silence, you'll be a yes, right? So I propose some topics here as well. We have like 20 minutes. So I don't usually speak about everything because we also have topics from another person. I just would you like to speak with you about two of them, and then we move for the another person, right? For I don't take over of all meeting. So the first one, I think will be very, very fast. If we check here, sorry, if you check here, when we do a pull request, let's get help, any pull request. We do tests against, we have a integration test, end-to-end tests actually, and we do tests against many versions of Kubernetes. By default, the project supports the latest 3 ones, right? Because it's the same supportability that Kubernetes provides. And I think to reduce the forge, they run in parallel, but I think we could, I don't see so many benefits. We test so many versions. So I would like to propose we try to keep only the list 3, and also it will help us clean some code, because today we have some tests that we need to do things different, because in 1.2022 we have a deprecation of APIs. We have a removal of APIs actually. So we have some code that is like before this version we do something, after this version do other thing, right? To ensure things that was provided before. So I just would like to propose the idea. If we have no objections, I would like, I will create the issue afterwards.
That matches with what upstream wants to do. I'll say, in case it's helpful, downstream in my own projects, we do something similar where it's like we run the latest versions for PRs, but we do a nightly of like older versions just to keep track of whether they continue to work. So maybe you want to do that just in case you still do want to know if some of those older versions are working.
I don't know how we could do that. Maybe in the master, I don't know. We would need to look at how to configure that, right? Because we use a pro that is Kubernetes SIG infra, if I'm not wrong, the repository.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the details would work out, but just a
Yeah.
thought in case you still feel like there's value in checking those older versions.
Yeah, we usually don't break the things. We try our best for don't break the things unless it's something out of your control, because we have the stable plugins, right? So the plugins actually we have the policy of doesn't introduce break chains, but if we have like a dependence that breaks, that can force us try to move forward, and we need to notify, but we avoid in the max break something. Like for example, before we have a flag that is CRG version, you could inform v1 beta 1, right? But it is flag, you cannot use it with the latest version of Kubebuilder, because the latest version you have as adapts controller runtime and controller tools versions that it doesn't support v1 beta 1, because they are also bumping Kubernetes latest release, and this API no longer exists, right? So in this case, the flag is deprecated, and And actually, you can work with that. We have a workaround to ensure the back work compatibility to try to help you out, but we try to downstream all the dependencies for you when you use that.
Just curious, Camilla, what's the release cadence of Kubernetes? Is it like essentially one every quarter-ish of the year?
I think they do 3 a year now.
3 a year? Okay.
It used
'Cause
to
I-
be
'cause
every
I-
quarter.
Because I was going to say, I noticed 122 was a little over a year ago. 123 was a little bit less than a year ago. I think it might be nice to support everything that was like around a year. So like if it was going to be like 4 releases a year, then I'd say we would support 4. But if it's going to be 3, we can do 3.
I thought we did N-2.
Yeah, what we need to support is the latest 3, right? Because it's the same as so Kubernetes also supports the latest 3. So I understand that it is N last 2.
N-2. So it's
Yeah,
the current and then the last 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha. That makes sense.
that is the mandatory, right?
So that means every time we add a new one, part of the task should be to get rid of the oldest one.
Yeah, we could do that. We can create this policy. If you think that, yeah, we can do that to try to
I
clean
mean,
up. Yeah.
Either you keep N-3 so that even though Kubernetes supports N-2, you keep 1 extra, or you go N-2 and you always clean up every time you add 1. Well, either way, the cleanup I think you will still have to do. Even if you went with N-3, you still want to get rid of your oldest ones.
Dock that,
The,
right?
the oldest one. So I think as part of each update, one of the things we should include is getting rid of the oldest test in the process.
We can put N-3, since we have much more than that, right? And after we can change. What do you think?
No, I mean, we can just pull the band-aid, do N-2 and get rid of 21
Yeah,
and older.
Yeah, I agree. I think N-2 is good. And
Yeah.
actually, that would be 23 now, right? Because 25 is out. So I think whenever we do the 125 bump for inference stuff, we can remove everything before 23.
Let's we added the new one. Okay. Action item. There. Just for I remember after, but I think it's that, right? If the policy. Also, we need to add the dog. And here, I put an action item for me. I know, after I go. Okay, so we have 13 minutes. I don't really speak about these ones to let our colleague have the chance, and I will move these ones for the next one, right? Just for having other person be able to share the thoughts. I don't know your name, and sorry for that. Would you like to speak?
Shane.
Shane, sorry.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been, it's probably been a couple months since I've actually been on this. I used to come to it more frequently. So we've talked before, but I definitely haven't been, I haven't come back in a while. I just wanted to throw a question out there. So I have noticed a pattern in the operators and controllers and stuff that I've been working on across a multiple projects. And I've noticed this pattern out in the wild of, with map functions, silently throwing away errors. So if you click on the example that I put in there, this isn't my code, by the way, this is from Contour. It was just something publicly available to kind of illustrate the fact that this happens this happens commonly. The basic idea of this map function is, you put this map function on your watch and it's saying, I'm watching gateway class custom resources. And what I want is the gateways that relates to. So it's for like object relational things you might map, right? That's what the map functions are there for. The problem is, you see it on line 126 basically, is that it's pretty common to put things that can error out in here. And so if I'm understanding it correctly, it's fairly minute, but in bad conditions on like the API server and stuff like that, you can straight up just lose an in-queued object. Like you would never in-queue in some rare conditions, you would end up never in-queuing. So I guess my question is, there's some ways like to work around this. So on my own projects, we try to use ownership as much as possible. It's not always like this example, ownership would not be, you wouldn't use ownership for this. So you can't have that direct link that gets you back to the thing. And also it's, the client is cached. So in theory, this is a really rare condition when you're actually going to have the error. But are there better ways to do this? Would we be open to having map functions that part of the signature could be an error? However that's handled, I'm not really sure yet. Like what to do with this? Is there a better way?
So I got a question in it for specifically about this example. So they're listing for the gateways. Let's assume they got an error. They return nil. Okay. You said there is a potential for losing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
I guess the
it's
question
pretty
is,
minute, but
would this not re-reconcile later and then pick them up, assuming the error gets fixed?
now I could be wrong, but my understanding is it will in fact not re-reconcile. The return of the nil reconcile request inside of a map function, as far as I understand the machinery right now, results in it being consumed from the queue and it's gone, and it never requeues the related objects.
I see.
But that is how that works, right? If you return a new, it means like we can stop. All is done.
Yeah, but that's not his question. That part, he's not questioning that part. He's questioning that, let's say there are 5 gateways out there. When I go to list them, that list call can't find them because there's an error. So it will log the error and then it returns nil. So then the rest of the machinery says, oh, there's no gateways, but there's 5. But we never saw them because for some reason, something happened. That list call errored for a variety of reasons.
And
the only reason we're getting away with this, right now is because of the cache client basically makes it so hard to get an error, but not impossible. So I'm looking for better ways to do this because I have some use cases where I'd like something better. It's not like burning me right now with like actual production failures, but I have seen problems with this happen. And we have some mechanisms right now, like we actually have one of our controllers will just eventually just kind of re-reconcile these things on its own, like just double check them. And that's one way to work around it, but it's not a great way. So if there's like a known better way to do this, ownership is the obvious one. It gets a little bit easier to do it with like, because if you have the object, then you can just look at its ownership and put in a reconcile request for the name. You have to do no lookups. You won't have an error. But that's not always possible, like in this case. So. If the answer is we don't know, then my question becomes, is it potentially reasonable for me to put in an issue to like request that we have an alternative map function type that has an error in the signature that would then cause the object that originally triggered it to be re-enqueued?
Is because this one is reconcile request, right? Let's see, I need to think about that. That is the most appropriate, but yes, I would suggest you anyway, create an issue in the control runtime, put the scenario, and bring that for discussion. And then we also have time to think, to analyze what you are saying, and thinking the options, and try to understand why you are doing this person is doing it this way, and then answer that's more appropriate. Unless someone would like to add something.
Well, I mean, yeah, the why is, I mean, it's like the map function type is like documents the why. There's like a need for this that goes back pretty far. But yeah, I'll fill out an issue that kind of fills in all the blanks. Then that sounds good. I just wanted to double check on the call first in case I was just missing something obvious. Like there's some obvious somebody knew something. So yeah, I can be done with this then. Thank you for your time on that one.
I'd like to
I'll
give you a
up with an
little
issue.
bit of look before give you a opinion.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. If you don't mind.
Yep.
Just to ensure that I properly understand, I'm not missing anything.
Yep. Yep. Sounds good. I'll do that. The next item on the agenda is also from me, and it is related to the last time I was on the call. So I've been trying to, I want to do this one, but I want some help. So I've been after this one for like more than a year, I think. And it's just been kind of slow going, but I have so many Kubebuilder and now Operator SDK code repos that kind of have problems related to this. And it would be really nice to get it fixed, and I'm happy to help fix it, but I don't really know where to start. So like 3 months ago, I was on this call and I asked, I want to say it was Jesus, Jesus. I'm not sure exactly the pronunciation that you want.
Jesus was right.
Okay, Jesus. I think we talked, and somebody else had like said, ping us on this thing and we'll get it going again for you. Ask for some help on here. I didn't get a response. So I'm back again to say, can somebody push me in the right direction here? I'm willing to even like jump on a Zoom and have somebody just kind of do a little bit of walking through the code with me to get me so I would be happy to try to fix this thing. I just don't know where to start right now.
I saw they add the ability to get the Go package root. There's another PR that I was looking at that's open now where they're adding Go workspaces.
Yes, that is a plugin, right?
Creates a Go mat. It adds a Go mod to the API directory so that you can import the API externally. I don't know if that's even related to this.
No,
I'd have to take a look at it. I was blind to that one.
I mean, it literally was within the last couple of weeks.
If I understand, right, if I remember properly, because that issue is open for too long. The idea is like they wanted to change the full structure, so they would like, let's come back there.
The big one is putting controllers in internal, because we're also used as a Go library in some of these. So we literally don't want those to be part of the public API. We want them to be under internal. That was kind of one of the bigger ones. And then having API not be the only thing outside of package that's basically part of the package PKG would also be nice, like being able to put API under PKG.
So Camilla, look in the pull requests, and let's see which one is, yeah, that one. So in this particular one, I mean, it doesn't solve it the same way you asked, Shane, in terms of putting controller into internal. But what this does is apparently it allows you to create a Go workspace so that the API directory can have its own Go mod and you can import it from another project, but not import your entire operator.
Well, what this particular PR does is it creates a multi-module Go project, kind of as like a monorepo. So essentially, how this PR works is it creates the Go mod in the API folder, and that will in turn essentially make it a separate Go module, but still within the same repository. So this doesn't do, I think, exactly what Shane's looking for. I think Shane's wanting it to be more like following good Go practices by putting that in the package folder. And then I guess potentially having it end up doing like an internal for controllers, and moving the controllers into an internal folder. But does that sound right, Shane?
Yeah, what we actually do right now, at least for one Kubebuilder project, is we have it in internal. We literally put it in there and we move it out for when we're using the Kubebuilder CLI. There's like a script to like dance it back out to where it's expecting it and then dance it back in. It's kind of janky.
This new plugin, I think it solved the problem. I want export only the APIs, right? It's one option to solve that problem. That issue for change the layout, the discussion in the past when Solly was like that what is a good practice in where put the things is more like something opinionated, right? Everybody will have some preference, right? So we have a standard, we have this layout, and everybody will want some change, some customization. So in the past, the idea was like, now if the plugin phase 2 that is implemented and we can share for you the things, don't have the documentation, we have a small sample now added, but we have the API implement so you can use. You could, for example, create your own plugins and do the scaffold as please you, and still using Kubebuilder, right? And you would only maintain the code of your own plugin. Also, I don't know, we can think about other options as well, like has people that say, I would like to change, like customize the path of the directors. Have you any idea how we could achieve that? Like if someone has some idea, like would you like to propose things or another ways to solve as well? Other option is like thinking in a plugin that is scaffold the things different. And a third option would be like, would you like to really change the default scaffold for another?
I just think a flag makes sense. Like being able to flag where you want things to go. The default can stay where it is. That doesn't bother me. It's more like
yes,
being able to flag it.
but a flag where, because now we have a plugin ecosystem, right? So the code is the plugin. Everything is inside of the plugin. So the flag that the API, the CLI provides for you is the plugin flag. So you use it by default. We have the Golang plugin and you scaffold it this way. You could have like a Camilla's Golang plugin and do the scaffolding the way that Camilla thinks is better, right? For example.
I get you. I think I get you. It just seems
But
I'm not
can
really sure.
create
I've never built
confusion.
a plugin for Kubebuilder, so like to me it seems like it should just be like on Kubebuilder init. You can just say where you want things to be, and then they are that way forever after. Like maybe configured then after in your project file. But it sounds like you're saying that's not easy.
For
Yeah,
example,
because
or something.
init uses a bunch of plugins. So when you say init, by there's a default plugin it's running.
Right, you
which I
can't
think
flag
is
into that
Go v3.
plugin. It is by default Go v3 now.
It is.
But what will be the flag? Change the layout for another model, and then you need to like the plugin you work with two models, like two specific. And if you want three, will be another if. How you keep maintaining that?
I guess I need to dig in. So I'm like vaguely aware of. I've been in the code base, but I've never actually like dug deep into the plugins. I think I'm gonna need to
Yeah,
do that. It sounds likely.
Angie, please feel free to ping in the Slack. I can share with you the documents at least for you have some idea why the plugins and how that works and what was the motivations behind all this stuff. And if you check here, for example, where we generate the samples, you see that it has plugins. And so, for example, we pass GoV3 that you generated the full, and then we pass the other plugin that is this new one, like that the folk is trying to propose, right? So by you also call the plugins in a chain. So you can do things like a plugin that you just do something, a helper, or just do a customization on top. So you can, for example, create a plugin that change the layout as you please after generate the things and and fix the things for you and use that in all your projects. Let's imagine it. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, so you're
I think we're past
suggesting.
time by quite a bit. So, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Camilla, just to kind of reiterate, you're basically suggesting having a plugin that can be chained, and that way, if you created a Go project, then it knows that the controllers and the APIs are going to be where the Go wants to put it, and then it can move it to where Shane would want it, and then as long as that plugin is configured in your project, it would know and work from
Yeah,
that point.
the first
It's actually,
plugin, the full one,
yeah.
never you know about the external one, right? That we don't know about,
Right.
like, but they can make it, any person can do a plugin that runs after the default scaffold, do the change, and I don't know, that is an option, right? Maybe that
Yeah.
is possible. It's one of the ideas, one of the options, like, I don't know. Or you have a Camila Go V3 and you never use this one more. It's like this one. And you try to use the Kubebuilder as a lib to import as much as possible. And you don't need to, you only do the implementation about what you need to change, because you can import everything. You can call the method that you call the init from the Go V3 plugin, right? And you don't need to re-implement all templates and all scaffolds, and you only do things on top. Also, we have now in the lib many options, like for you replace or insert your code as well. You have some many not. We have a utils option, plugin utils, that you find some methods that help you try to customize the things on top. So that is an option as well. So you not have so much code to customize, but when you call the create API, also your plugin needs knows how to work with the create API. So that implementation call the Kubebuilder implementation and to do the things on top, for example, to ensure that you always done properly and in the way that you wish. It's an option. It's one idea, right?
Yeah. Oh, I got to drop. I really would
Yeah,
rather
we
have this
crossed
conversation more.
6 minutes. We crossed 6 minutes. Really sorry, that was my mistake. I was not with a lot of attention in the time. I would like to thank you, everybody. And please bring it to topic again in the next one. We can discuss. Ping us. I'm more than happy to share with you how all documentation, everything that we have about the plugins, and show for you some ideas and some options. And you also can come with other ideas and options, right? And let's discuss and see how you can help.
Okay, thank you for your time. I'll check in with you next time.
So thank you, folks. Thank you for all. I'm stopping to.
Hi, Camila. I just had one question. Like, if I were to contribute to a new field feature in this Kubebuilder project, how would that be, or how would I explore that?
You are more than welcome to contribute with everything in the project, right? Everybody, please contribute with the Kubebuilder. You only make us happy with that. If you can, is that new feature is something that you have in mind,
No,
or
like There is
anything.
something already, yeah, open or like.
You can look in the issues, you can see everything that is here, and you'd like to contribute, it's fine. We have also some labels, which is first good issue, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if you have too much with this label. This one, good first issue, right? So if you want to look on that and start for that, or start for documentation, usually is the easy ones. When I start to contribute with a new project, the first thing that I do is try to take something very simple, just to see how the things works, and then I start to get other things. Here is the contribution guide, so you can also check this out, right? And ping me if you give a look in the issues, give a look in the contribution guide. If you don't have the project, a fork of the project, and clone a branch and clone that in your local environment, that is the first step. And feel free to ping us in the channel, and I can try to help you find some issues for you get started, for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Kamila. And the recordings of these meetings are placed in which doc exactly?
We have, I started to put there. We don't have it from all meetings. We usually record, but we have not been doing a good job in publish. But yes, has a link, and please ping me after this one that I will share with you, has a list in your YouTube, and I also will put that here for everybody knows, right?
Yeah, I can do that.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
And really thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Please ping me.
Yeah.
Bye, folks.